Hey everybody, my name is Honey Child and I'm a Philly-based musician, singer, songwriter, and you are back for episode 2 of Say More, a series where I revisit all of my older projects, the good, the bad, and yes, the cringe. If you haven't had a chance to check out the first episode, please do go on back, rewatch that, or watch it for the first time. That was a really special one because we got to listen to the very first recorder project under the name Honey Child, and it was a massive undertaking, a 24-hour mixtape with some good friends and peers of mine, and that track was called Raw. Now we're getting into like the Honey Child solo stuff, which is primarily what I want to focus this project on. I've had the pleasure of being featured on some other tracks, either as an instrumentalist or a singer or a rapper. But for the sake of, keeping this to, my own projects, I am going to be really revisiting the stuff that I put out solo, but there may be a few in there where I'm doing something with a musical peer or a musical friend. So for today, we're going to visit my project called I put out in 2018 on SoundCloud. And the very, very first track on that album, that EP, that mixtape, I don't know, what are labels, right? That is called Tomboy Becky. Becky was a nickname that I had when I was really, really little. I go by Becca now. Please don't call me Becky. And so this is where I am really in my rap bag, so to speak. And it's really exciting one because at the time I was still very much involved in a rap and soul collective hard work movement right out of Philly. And so this track and really this album was inspired by being surrounded by some really awesome MCs and friends. And so I took some of that inspiration and a lot of it went into this album called I. And particularly this song called Tomboy Becky. So let's get into it. I have truly not listened to this track probably since 2018. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to put this series out. Is because I do think it is really important to revisit some of your older work. We're in a new year, it is 2024, and I'm really trying to resist the urge to fast forward past all the stuff that I've done in the past, just leave it all behind and put out new stuff to prove that I am this evolved artist, and all of that's great. I think seeing your evolution is really, really good for your musical journey. So that is part of this that I want to share with you all. So this track is called, again, Tomboy Becky, and I'm going to cue it up. We're going to listen to it together, and then after it's done, I'll talk a little bit more about the inspiration, maybe some of the things that I wrote in it, the way I performed it, all that good stuff. So this is Tomboy Becky. I also just want to note for you all that a lot of the stuff is on SoundCloud, and I'm going to put the full link to everything in the description so you don't have to worry about it. All right, here we go. This is the true story of Tomboy Becky. Grew up running bases with the boys like she was Barry. Never bonded with the others cause they thought she acted funny. Saying there's no way a girl could be both strong and pretty. But Becky didn't buy it, she was on to better things. Learned that when it comes to hives, you gotta watch the stings. Still flexing with the best, now she got royalty on her team. Ain't it funny how a tomboy can grow up to be a queen? Head of state with many different names. Like soundtrack ahead vibes. She stayed no longer playing childish games. Learned to shoot at moving targets, but still working on that aim. It's never easy looking back at life through different frames. The vision's kinda blurry, the focus kinda shaky. Watching scenes roll past every event that ever made me. Treading paths, promenading and stepping lightly. Asking who have I become since that tomboy that they call Becky. You're looking at a queen in the making. Never playing with the hearts I be taking, no mistaken. I didn't do this alone. Took years just to keep from escaping. It took many years, many years, many counted the tears, many fears, plenty. I at 29 still feel that girl inside, and even if I'm running, it don't mean I got to hide. You're looking at a queen in the making. Never playing with the hearts I be taking, no mistaken. I did not do this alone. Took years just to keep from escaping. It took many years, many years, many counted the fears, many tears, plenty. I at 29 still feel that girl inside, and even if I'm running, it don't mean I got to hide. Ooh. I think it may have gotten cut off at the end there. All right. 29-year-old honey child. Okay, for context, I'm now 35 years young. 29. Yes, okay. So, first thoughts, and I said this in episode 1 with Raw, and I'm going to say it again. I think a lot of what I put in here as a lyricist very much still stands. First of all, this was a song that I used to open a lot of my sets with. And specifically, I used to open it a cappella. So, sorry, sirens are going past. So to hear it now and to hear some of the production and all the background music, that was all stuff that I put in there later. But this was a track that I opened a lot of sets with a cappella. Just to get myself warmed up. I like to be able to put in really brief stuff at the beginning of a set just to get myself to before, diving into the real performance. So this Tomboy Becky was an opening track for a while. So I really enjoyed some of the wordplay I put in there, something to the effect of Barry and then later on say bonding, and Tomboy was very much code back in the 90s when I was a kid. And it's, I think, part of an identity that's very precious to me still as a queer person, especially. I really love how this was an ode to my younger self. A lot of my Honey Child project is about providing something for my younger self that maybe I didn't get at that time. Confidence certainly being one of them. The other thing I'll note is I love to be able to showcase a lot of stuff in one song. So you notice that I switch from rapping, to singing for the hook. You're looking at a queen in the making. Never, the hearts I be breaking. I haven't performed this song in a long time, people. But I love to be able to switch it up at any given moment. So that to me really stands out as something that's wow, I still very much hold on to that in my live performances. Man, what else can I say about this track? It's always, I think, a good sign when you're listening back and you're able to point out some of the things that you might do differently. For instance, I think the production value of this song, yeah, certainly it could have been tightened up some places. Earlier on, I start to fall off the beat a little bit, which for me isn't a huge deal. You hear a lot of rappers even today, and I will not name names, but you hear a lot of them that fall off the beat. It seems to be something that is, I don't know if you can call it a trend now, but there's definitely a little bit of the production of it that's oh, okay, I certainly would switch that up, but honestly, that's a good sign. That's kind of the Honey Child of 2024 that's oh yeah, I would do this differently. But I think production wise and I did this mainly on a MIDI keyboard over at 2026 West Oxford in the Rich Life Studio. Shout out to Jay Rich, who definitely supported this project. And this was a project where I really got my hands dirty as an audio engineer, working with Jay on figuring out all of that, what it means to sit at the helm of like the production, and starting to think about myself as like an arranger and producer as well. So that was Tomboy Becky. Man, I feel like I'm blushing. It's probably not coming through, but it was really, really good to reflect on this project. And there are 3 more tracks that go into this album. So for the next episode, we will hit on the next track of that. So if you don't already, follow me on YouTube, on Instagram, on all the things, please do. And thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of Say More.